Here we are once again with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have this time is the Matsubara Ginsan Damascus Bunka 170mm knife. This is an interesting line of knives. They're pretty cool. They use a all stainless construction, so there's more than three layers, but the basic construction is the quarter core steel. The cutting steel in the center is known as Ginsan or Ginsanko Silver 3. It's got a few different names, but it's an easy to sharpen, very, very high quality, conventional stainless, full stainless steel. Takes a great edge. As I said, it sharpens up very, very nicely. It's fine grained. It's an excellent steel. And the heat treat's around 60 to 61 Rockwell on this, so it's not super hard. The construction is stainless multi-layered cladding or Damascus style cladding over the top of that core steel. And you can see the finish on this has kind of a semi-polish to it. It's not a full mirror, but it's not too far off, so it's going to get a little crazy here with the reflections, but we'll do our best here to kind of show that to you without getting too nutso. But anyway, here's the beauty shot, so you can see some nice hand chisel kanji on the left side of the blade as you'd be holding it and using it. So again, all stainless construction. The weight and dimensions will vary a little bit from knife to knife on these. The weight is around 156 grams or 5.5 ounces. Edge length is around 175 millimeters on this one, or just about 7 inches. And the overall length was about 312 millimeters with this particular handle. Spine thickness, a little thicker coming out of the handle, about 3.2 millimeters I measured over the back of the heel. And then about 2.9 inches about halfway down. And typical style on these knives, they don't lose a lot of thickness, not a lot of taper till you hit this corner here, this turn with this reverse sword tip, and then these thin up pretty nicely right at the very tip, and they're also thin at the edge, so they've got a little meat on them up at by the spine. They've got some contour on the grind that you can kind of feel with your hands, but they are really fairly rigid. This one's quite rigid, but nice and thin where it counts at the tip and then the edge. I cut with the 210 Guto of this line, and it was a really nice balanced performer. These are tall knives. That's the style, about 51 millimeters-ish at the heel, and you can see there's tons and tons of clearance for your fingers. The handles, nothing super fancy, but it's a nicely executed octagonal. It says rosewood. This sure kind of seems like either a dark rosewood or could be a walnut with the black packawood ferrule. Little sloppy on the two of these I see in this batch with the gluing on the handle, but you could probably clean that up a little bit if you wanted to. They got a little glue on the tang. The tang's a little thin. There's not quite enough room there for you to stick your finger right in there, but it nestles in pretty well. Balance point is going to be right in there, so it's not too far off a pinch grip, maybe a little bit behind that. Circumference on the handle is kind of a standard 75 millimeters or 3 inches where the two materials meet right here. Fit and finish. These are nicely finished. They've got a little bit of rustic character to them, but they're pretty refined. And definitely you can tell they're, not off an assembly line for sure. They've got a lot of character to them, but they've done a really nice job with these on the etching to bring out these layers. You can kind of feel the layers when you run your finger across it. Sorry, I'm trying not to reflect too much into the camera here, but you can see some really well executed hand chisel kanji. You can run your fingers over it. You can see the reflection on that. So this is the left side of the blade. This is the right side of the blade as you'd be holding it. Again, a fair amount of polish to it. Nice polish on the spine. A little bit of relief there. Nice choil into the neck. Polish and relief, so very, very comfortable. I'd say this had a really solid 6, maybe 7 out of 10 edge on it out of the box. So it was nice out of the box. Let's see. Let's take a look at the cutting board view. So here's your cutting board view. You can see it's fairly curvy, so we don't have a lot of flat going on. It's a fairly curvy profile all over. Very low tip. I don't get too high. I can get kind of in there before I start maybe digging the tip in. So you could rock over smaller stuff, no problem. But, it's not that long of a knife either. But you can see the snout here. The tip is pretty doggone low. Just kind of their style. But it's a cool blade. It's they're good performers. They look really cool. They've got that, hand chisel kanji on there. Just a really nice looking blade. Interesting look. Tall if you like that. So just a cool knife. So this is the Matsubara Ginsan Damascus Bunka 170 millimeter knife.